So it is reported that Vladimir Putin has refused a meeting with the MK party leader, Jacob Zuma. It is reported by Sunday Times said Zuma blocked by Russia. Zuma was denied meetings with President Vladimir Putin and the Defense Minister Andriy Bilyazov. As it is reported that Jacob Zuma has been trying to have these 17 South Africans returning back home, but seems like everything that he has tried, it has failed. So the MK party, now it has stuck, right? And on the other hand, the DA opens criminal charges against the Duduzile Zuma. So many of us are asking ourselves, how are these recruitments done? So there were people who were arrested at OR Tambo who were planning to go to Russia, and these people are South Africans, right? 4 men and 1 woman.
They were caught preparing to cross borders as alleged mercenaries, and now 4 men and a woman find themselves in the dock. They're accused of heading for the front lines of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Now, senior broadcaster Nonkululeko Mantula is alleged to have played a key role in recruiting the men. The 5 face charges under the Regulation of Foreign Military Assistance Act, and the suspects were arrested at OR Tambo International Airport after police received a tip-off. They were then removed from a flight headed to Russia via the UAE. Electronic devices and backpacks were also seized. The matter was postponed to the 8th of December for a bail application.
So South Africans are selling other South Africans for money. So how are these recruitments being done? Let's watch this video here.
Indlela engafika ngala eRussia umama uSiphokazi yena wayo-organize umama uSiphokazi uMaqhuma yena organize wayena yonke into yena wayemhlele ama-passport sasiwasendela yena besazi ukuthi sobhukhelwa yena ama-flight safika la eRussia masifika eMoscow saba nenkinga kuqala nje isikhathi eside sise-airport singakwazi ukungena aqhamuka elinye isosha lakwazi ukudlulisa elinye ngaphandle liphathe ibhodi ebhalwe MK. Sabona ukuthi uyena umuntu osplita ngendlela basithatha from Moscow sihamba 2 days singadlile singaphuze ngisho amanzi endaweni ekuthiwa isePeskov safike sahlala laphana safika ama-contracts kathiwa sisayine sanqaba ukusayina ngoba yayibhalwe ngesiRussia and isiRussia sisazi kafika uDudu hamba nokhoza but le nto singayisayina nabayenza yabo ngoba uyayenza naye uyohlala unyaka naye khona ngala. Hayi khweli ngoba sasibona umuntu esimthembayo naye wazi washo nje bomlalisa entabeni bephethe igrenade entabeni nesibhamu first umtest ukuthi nawo strong yini wazi washo no because uthi wayila 2023 so le nto ayazi singawarisheki training lena so soba sayinayo nathi sasuka lapho sayendaweni ukuthi use safika trainer laphana 7 to 10 days masuka lapho sasaya kwenye indawo ngingasalikhumbuli-ke igama lale ndawo sasikiwa safike sahlala almost a month la saqala khona ukuthi sizinto izinto esizela kuyona. Okay, saqhubeka sakubonakala ukuthi kutonyelwa abantu ngathunga nga4 kuthiwa baya endaweni sigcine singaphinde sibabone yabo gcina sesihlukaniswa ngama-group kumanye ise-Ukraine kodwa sihleli ndawonye yabo abanye sibazi bakephi indawo kodwa sisendaweni andi-Ukraine andi-Russia kodwa ise-Ukraine kwenumber yami ithi CA077389.
So just imagine, these people are saying that when they get there, they didn't get any food, they didn't get any support, right? Things just tend to be bad. They spend days without having solid food. So they went on to say, when they got there, there was a contract that was given to them and they had to sign. Guess what? That contract, it is written in a Russian language and there are no interpreters. There's no one who's explaining to them of what are they signing, and they just sign without understanding the package of what is contained in the contract. Then after that, they end up now going to the war zone because already they've signed something that was written in a foreign language. So these recruitments, this is how they are being done. And it seems like now most South Africans, they're getting themselves involved because there are South Africans who are living abroad, you see. So now these mercenaries, when they need people who will fight their battles there, they contact these South Africans to go to their countries to do more recruitments. So this is what now is just being revealed. So a lot of arrests are going to be done. Duduzile, also the DA is at Head Road, right? He has been charged by now these recruiting South Africans to go there. DA lays criminal charges against Duduzile Zuma Sabunla for trafficking South Africans into Russian war zone. So very interesting. I want us to talk about that because the DA is not an honest organization. Their leaders are hypocrites. Their hate of JZ will never diminish. The most of the court cases that the old man is attending is because of the DA. They've been trying to get the old man the longest of time, and now they've been failing, and they've chosen now to go for the daughter, the beloved daughter of the former president. So the DA, they are in the mission. Everything that is wrong that the Zumas or Jacob Zuma is doing, the DA will just come and open a criminal case. You can even swear that maybe the courts are something somewhere, they are the branches of the DA.
The case against Duduzile Zuma is a separate case, but we don't rule out the possibility that most probably as the investigation continues, these two cases might verge.
Can you tell us more about the woman accused of recruiting them?
She is part of those people that will be appearing on Monday, the 8th of December.
So the DA now, what is so interesting is that they're accusing now the MK party, especially Duduzile Zuma, of now selling these South Africans to the Russian mercenaries. So now I want us to go back a little bit because the DA is full of hypocrisy, and the leadership of the DA are the people who are not honest, and they've been deceiving the country for far too long. Let me just put it clear to you. The DA is a terrorist organization that has masqueraded itself as a political party. Their interests are with the West. It's more like the DA is the agent of America.
We also are in Parliament. We also have a shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs, or International Relations, as it's now called. We have all those people, and I can assure you that if we were saying nothing on Ukraine, with our government being the international pariah on the subject, we would be fundamentally failing in our duty.
Actually, no, I'm going to disagree with that point fundamentally, because the international pariahs at this point, if you draw a map of the world and look at who has supported the votes against Russia, it's entirely the Western world. This is a white people's war, Helen. Absolutely, this is a white people's war. Consider the fact, India, the world's biggest democracy, Helen, the world's biggest democracy, has taken a neutral stance on this war. China, the world's second biggest country, has taken, it is not a war against the rule of law. It is a war against the fact that the US has consistently broken its word in terms of not expanding its borders right up to the doorstep. And I promise you, if my neighbor is going to turn around and plant machine guns that are pointed directly into my yard, I'm going to do something about it.
All right, now, so you have a
I have decidedly, but more crucially, the majority of the South, for want of a better word, is taking that view. Why is it that we now have the scenario that Brazil is now rallying around Russia? You've actually had for the first time this alliance between the Saudis and the Iranians now coming together. There is going to be a BRICS-based currency that is going to supplant the US dollar. The US dollar is on the verge of collapse because they have printed more US dollars in the Biden administration that ever existed in the course of history. Now, at the point at which the global financial system collapses, where the hell is your rules-based order going to be, Helen? You guys have your heads so firmly up your asses that you don't understand the seismic shift that's happening in the world right now in terms of this foreign policy. And I promise you that a year from now, you are going to look back on this war and you will see how fundamentally the world has been transformed, particularly in terms of the agreements that was signed between the Russians and the Chinese over the past couple of days. Read that with great detail, because right now, the bloc that we have in terms of Russia and India and China and Brazil is the world's biggest economy, not the US. And they are the single growth point for us from a trade point of view. And if we are not shifting our focus as a country to the West and getting our heads out of the asses of the United States, we are going to be totally reamed.
So
I'm very clear about that. If we're going to talk about force being the model, it's 20 years since the Iraq war. Let's talk about force there. Let's talk about force that was used in Libya. Let's talk about force that is used in Syria. Why does the DA never say anything about the fact that there are countries currently invading the DRC? We don't yet talk about that. Why do we not talk about the fact that the US has troops on the ground in Somalia? We don't hear the DA talking about that. So the DA is very selective. DA, yes, exactly. So why the selective targeting of what actually goes on in Ukraine when there is a pattern of this being happening?
Different things, but we can't go into. I mean, the troops are doing different things. We're in so-called peacekeeping forces across the continent because there are wars all over the place that have incredibly bad spin-offs for the continent and the people as a whole.
The DA is one of the political parties that has done more crime than any other political party that we have. More than the ANC, more than the MK party, or even the EFF. The DA are the masters of crime. They've been sending weapons to Ukraine. No one has said anything about that. They've been sending South Africans in Ukraine. No one is saying anything about that. They've been sending South Africans to fight for Israel against Palestine. No one is saying anything about that. Let us look at this news article. Russia says it has killed more than a dozen South Africans, Mercenary, in Ukraine. Articles by News 24, 15 March 2024. Daily Maverick wrote, where are the prosecutions of South Africans fighting in the Israel Defense Forces? There are South African citizens who have joined the Israeli army. We have been told that they have not applied for permission to do so. South Africans fighting for Israel in Gaza. What does the law say? South African Foreign Minister Dr. Naledi Pandor has warned citizens fighting for the Israel Defense Forces IDF in Gaza that they face prosecutions upon their return. So you see that the DA has been sending South Africans there. They've been sending over the past years. No one has opened a criminal charge or a criminal case against the terrorist party called the DA. Russia has killed more South Africans. Who do you think sent those South Africans there? South African citizens who has joined Israeli army. South Africans fighting for Israel in Gaza. There's only one party that has aligned its values with Ukraine and Israel. It is only the DA that has supported and showed their solidarity with the countries like Ukraine and Israel.
NgoFebruary ka-2025 una-14 yama-soldier alapha eSouth Africa aswelekela ngapha eCongo. Zange nisebenzise same energy le niyisebenzisayo ngoku, kodwa xa sinixelela uba niyakhontrolwa, nemedia iyakhontrola uba yenzani intoni nini kanjani, niyasiphikisa. Le energy eninayo right now kula amajoni ayi-14 atshona ngoFebruary zange niyisebenzise. Why? Ngoba niyakhontrolwa uba yazini intoni, thethani ngantoni ngaliphi ixesha. Sebenzisani same energy nilwele nala amajoni ayeseCongo elwa ne-M23 ayi-14 walapha eSouth Africa aswelekayo. Ndiyafuna ukunibona uba izawuba yile energy ninayo nangoku.
The DA is like the terrorist organization that is hell-bent in prosecuting anyone who does not align their values with them. Why Cyril Ramaphosa is surviving is because he has given them to be part of the GNU. They have positions there. So Cyril to them is not a threat, even though it was discovered that it was the president who has kept the dollars in his farm there at Palapala. But the DA is not going to prosecute him. He's not going in that direction because you see, Cyril is now their buddy. He's given them the positions. But now to the likes of Jacob Zuma, all the problems that Jacob Zuma have with the courts, 90 or 99%, they are from the DA. They are hell-bent in prosecuting the old men. But when it comes to their buddy, their friend Cyril, they are not doing anything. So this is so very biased when it comes to the DA. The DA is quick to use courts as if the courts are the branches of the DA. So the DA is nothing but the American spy agent political party that is obsessed with power. Nothing more, nothing less. So you can tell that now this thing, many people are doing it. Political parties such as the DA, yes, the MK party, even the ANC, they've sent soldiers to the DRC without the country understanding why the soldiers were there in the DRC, and some of them, they died. So here, you got Prover, everyone is just doing as they please. Everyone is just doing anything that they like because no one will hold anyone responsible. So South Africans are now selling South Africans. This is how slavery started. It was Africans who were selling other Africans. And the same thing is now repeating itself. Because of the love of money, people who are selling other people so that financially they will have gains. What is your thought on this? Please don't forget you can support us here, even though you support the DA or the MK party or the NC, whatsoever movement that you like. Please subscribe to this political YouTube channel and let's meet on the next video. And I'm bowing out.